Hey, good to see you again. The team are now ready to start development on some new upgrades. You can review these from within the laptop. I'll speak to you later, okay?
What is going on, guys? It's Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we kick things off on a really good positive note here today compared to the last episode, and we've got a whopping 750 extra resource points add straight to the pile, and that is absolutely fantastic to see, and the team giving me full support and backing by really giving me a helping hand in the R&D points department, and that's going to help massively towards a couple of upgrades. Obviously, in the last episode, you would have seen that the front wing upgrade that we had planned actually failed on us, so we've got a front wing upgrade pending for 450 resource points. However, I have got like 1,600 points or 1,700, so what I'm planning is I'm going to try and do the practice session here today and get enough resource points, and maybe also after the practice in the race maybe, and also qualifying. Once we've done basically the entire race weekend, I hopefully might have enough resource points to maybe make 3 upgrades, and I'm not talking a durability one this time. I'm talking like 3 aero ones, or maybe like 2 aero and 1 chassis or something like that. I'm not sure how it's going to go right now, but I do make 3 upgrades at the end of the episode, guys. So I do urge you to go stick around and wait until the end to see what upgrades exactly I do. But other than that, we're going to jump straight into practice here for Monza, and I've got to say the car felt absolutely hooked up around here. Just an absolute dream to drive, and everything is working absolutely beautifully for me all weekend long, and the car really coming into its own around the circuit that I was feeling confident because 1, it suits the car, and 2, me as myself, I've done a lot of practice for this circuit and a lot of laps here for the esports event that was here literally like a week ago. So I've got a lot of laps in my belt on the Ultimate 110 AI, and just pushing to the absolute max around here. So I've got a good experience and a good idea of where the track is meant to be, where I've got to be for overall pace, and where I would like to be. So a lot of different factors this race to take into account, and we've got pretty much a dry weekend expected throughout the entirety of the race weekend, except for the start of the race. But there is a little bit of rain expected, which is very interesting, and I urge you guys to go check that out at the start of the race, which is very unique. But as you can see, we're just powering through the practice sessions, and so far doing a pretty good job getting a green score in the qualifying performance test there, which is the only sort of minor hiccup in the practice session. But other than that, race strategy once again went as smooth as ever, and we get a purple score, maximum 50 points, and everything was going absolutely beautifully for us. And after practice, I decided to switch out to some fresh engine components, and obviously it is Monza, it's a power circuit, so just like in Spa in the last race, we're going to switch over to a brand new engine, all 5 engine components getting switched out to fresh units. And after that, basically we've used all of our components after this, so they will have all been used at some point, so we shouldn't incur any more grid penalties, and also we can rotate these and use them for the remaining 6 races of the season after Italy. So basically we're going to be juggling these around for the rest of the season, and who knows, I might have to take a penalty maybe towards the end if something goes terribly wrong, but hopefully that's not the case. But we're now going to jump into Saturday qualifying here at Monza, and I was looking forward to this session, and I felt pretty damn confident overall that I could get a good job here because the car felt hooked up. I got a good setup on, and I like my chances around here because this is a track that does suit the Force India unless something goes horribly wrong. So we're going to run aboard my best lap of the session, which was my first one here. So let's run aboard now for the entirety of a lap here at the Monza circuit, and straight into turn 1 here. I'm going to spot the 100-meter board and brake just before it down to 3rd gear, possibly 2nd. I prefer 3rd, and really careful to avoid the orange sausage curbs on the inside. It's absolutely critical that you do not touch them, and then critical that you get good traction out the exit of the corner as you go flat out through Curva Grande, turn number 3, and now into turn 4 here. Very tricky section. You've got to try and get your car over the orange curb on the first one at the 100-meter board. Just get it over the curb to avoid getting up in the air, and then avoid the second one on the inside there as we now go on our way into Lesmo number 1 here. 5th gear corner, try and hug the apex, run it as wide as you dare, try to pick up the power as soon as possible, and then once again Lesmo 2, 5th gear once again, pick up the traction. It's critical that you get a good straight line speed down this back straight, open up the DRS through the left hand kick, and now basically you're coming up to the acceleration chicane. You want to spot the 100-meter board on the right hand side and throw the car in without cutting the corner too much there. I do a very good job of keeping it within the track limits in 5th gear. Very nice run through there, nice and clean, all within the track confines, and a very good lap up until this point. And So far so good as Hamilton sets the fast lap of qualifying so far. And now into the Parabolica, just before the 50-meter ball, down the 5th gear, pick up the apex, run it out as wide as you dare, but without touching the AstroTurf on the outside, which is very, very slippery. You have to be very careful with that. As we come across the line, and where is the lap going to put us? It's a P3 at the moment on the grid temporarily, but you would get demoted a few places later on in the session. And I went out for another lap, and I was P6 at the time, and I was on for an improvement, but I made a little mistake at Ascari, getting it all out of shape, and that pretty much ruined my chances of improving, and I was about 10th and a half up there. So in the end of the things, as you can see in the session there, we could have maybe jumped Massa if we'd hooked up the lap, but you know, it's Monza, these things happen. It's a track with such few corners, and you have to be so precise through every single one. But Hamilton takes pole ahead of Bottas, so it's a Mercedes 1-2 in Ferrari's backyard, who both Ferraris start on the 2nd row, with myself and Massa on the 3rd row, and beating both of the Red Bulls with Ocon and Magnussen rounding out the top 10. But that was the grid for qualifying. I'm looking forward to the race tomorrow because the conditions are very tasty, so let's jump straight into the race. Right, so we're here for race day at Monza, and P6 on the grid for us here today. A pretty okay qualifier, nothing spectacular. However, this race has just been blown wide open, and the reason for that is because you can see on the screen right now, you can hear it in the background, it's currently raining on track, but we're on the dry tyres, which suggests to me that the track is obviously raceable on dry conditions. And if you look at the race strategy, you can see that the rain is going to stay here for at least a couple of laps before it goes away for dry conditions. And this is very interesting. I don't know if I should start on the intermediate or not, because looking at the racetrack, it's like it's raining enough from what I can see that maybe DRS won't be enabled at the start of the race. Also, I'm going to presume most of the AI will start on dry tyres, so there's an opportunity there if I want to take a risk and maybe try something on the intermediates, because on the dry tyre I'm not going to be any faster than most of the AI around here. So the only way I'm going to get something out of this race and try to be different is if I start on the intermediate. Now the question is, can I pull out a whole pit stop's worth of a gap on inters? Who knows? The track's got to stay wet enough for it. But you know what? I'm leaning towards the intermediate tyre right now and thinking of risking it. So I think I'm going to go for the inter, unless it doesn't let me change, which I don't think it is. Let me see if I can change my tyre here. No, I can't actually choose the intermediate, so that's frustrating. I wonder if anyone outside the top 10 will go for the intermediate. That'd be interesting to see, but as far as I know, I can't change the tyre I'm on, which is quite frustrating. But if you guys let know in the comments down below, let me know, but I can't seem to change it, I don't think. No, I can't, so that's a bit of a frustrating one, to be honest, because I wanted to go on to the intermediate, but now I think I'm restricted to what you can see on the screen right now. So, right, this is going to be interesting. I think we've got a very interesting race on our hands here today. So let's see how this one pans out. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race, and I can't wait. So let's jump straight into it here. Right then, here we go on the grid for Monza. It's going to be very interesting to see how this one pans out. But 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go here in these very tricky conditions. And it's a pretty poor start from me, actually. A lot of wheel spinning first. I'm going to cover the inside, but it's no use. Ricciardo still coming through here, and I'm going to get boxed in a 3-wide situation with both of the Red Bulls. Ricciardo going for the dive into the first corner. We're going to go just squeezed in here between these guys. I'm going to have to take that middle line. Do I survive? I'm sort of locked on both rear tyres, but I've made it work. And up into 4th place, I've managed to survive. And what's the start from me, and also Daniel Ricciardo, and also Sebastian Vettel. So a couple of really good fast starters, but it's still a Mercedes 1-2 up front. And now we've got to see what the conditions are like here, and how slippery the track is as I get a little bit out of shape into there. I'm going to just knock down the brake bias, because these are very tricky conditions here, and we've got to be very careful early on. But the raindrops are already sort of easing up a little bit, so it looks like we should be on pretty much a drying track very soon. But Ricciardo making the move here. He's got some pace early on here. I'm going to stick with him, try and get the better traction out of here, which I have done, and we should have the straight line speed here to outpace him. And there we go, just got ahead of Ricciardo there, so we're back up into 4th place. But now let's see what our pace is like, and can we try and keep up with the front 3. So into this race, no issues except for the possibility of me maybe having some gearbox issues, as I'm on my 6th and final race on this gearbox, so that can be the only thing that might fail on me this race. So we've got to hope that nothing happens, but that's the only thing that can possibly hurt me in terms of my own car. And then the rest is just stuff that can happen, whether it's a crash or just maybe some weird weather conditions. But that's the only thing that I've got to keep an eye out for, and me possibly missing some gears here today. Okay, so now Raikkonen has passed Ricciardo basically, and he's now pretty damn close to me. I'm 8% off the fastest lap of the race, so my pace isn't too bad. However, now Raikkonen is trying to get a move on. He's got DRS on my inside here. He's going to try and make the move on me into turn 1. I'm going to try and match him on the brakes, going around the outside. I leave him the room on the inside there, but I've just about got him. I'm going to hold on to P4 for now. Ricciardo with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and it's coming a little bit under threat now. I've got to try and pick up the pace a little bit in these conditions and try and match the leaders a little bit more and try and stay ahead of Kimi Raikkonen here. Okay, the track has officially dried up quite a bit now, and here comes Raikkonen on my inside once again. He's going to try and go for the move, but I'm just pulling away from him in a straight line ever so slightly here, and I think I can sort of match him on the brakes and keep him behind me for now, but the track is getting quick and it's drying out. Right now up into third place as Bottas is just coming in for a pit stop, so we've got to try and pick up the pace now and try and set the fastest laps, but the track is now officially dry, and here comes Raikkonen once again on my inside. He's all over the back of me and he's trying to make the move once again here. We're going to go side by side through Curva Grande into turn 4. I'm going to hold the inside line. Can we defend from Kimi here? I'm going to leave him in the room. I'm onto the gravel though, not ideal. I'm going to stay ahead for now. Raikkonen once again coming back up my inside. We've got Ricciardo for company now behind us, and Raikkonen's going to take third place as I got gravel on my tyres, but great battle, and now the track's dry. Let's see what the pace is like, but right now we've got some more defending to do from Ricciardo behind, and let's see if I can sort of keep up with Raikkonen in front, because I think I've got the pace to at least stay somewhat in touch around here. Okay, so Lewis and Sebastian are in the pit lane. Also, Daniel Ricciardo peels in. Raikkonen sets the fastest lap. I set a personal best. I'm going to stay out for a little bit longer here because I want to go on a soft tyre and not the medium to make something happen this race. So that's the plan of action now until my pit stop. Right, Raikkonen pits. I'm going to re-inherit the race lead, and not re-inherit, actually inherit the race lead, should I say, and match my personal best there, 125.2. Not great lap times by any means, but lap times don't really matter to me that much right now. I'm just focused on trying to make this strategy work and going on to that soft compound tyre. So let's just try and keep a head down here and trying to get the life out of this tyre. I want to try maybe pit by the end of the next lap. That should be enough for me to get the soft tyre to the end. Okay, so my tyres have hit the cliff pretty much, and I'm going to come in this lap. I should be okay because I did put a quali lap on these tyres also, and the rears are pretty much on 73, 74%, 76 actually, so there you go. The rears are about to pop, so I need to come in because they're pretty much hitting the cliff. So let's get it all slowed down now for the pit entry, and there we go. Solid pit entry, nice and aggressive. Hamilton's going to drive by right about now, but I'm going to be pretty lower down than what I was before, but I don't really care. I just want to be on that soft compound tyre because with the mediums I'm not going to go anywhere, so I'd much rather be on a faster tyre, suffer a little bit of wear at the end, but at least that way I'll be on a better race tyre. But as you can see, we're currently in P5. Raikkonen just drove by just now, so we're now going to be down to P6 and probably make that P7 as Ricciardo drives by on the medium compound tyre. But in the grand scheme of things, we haven't lost that much time, and we're still well within the race here, so we're going to be right behind Ricciardo on a better tyre. So now basically I get to use this and hopefully re-overtake the Honey Badger in due course, and then try and maybe make a push for the top 5 and see if I can make anything happen in the remainder of this Grand Prix. Alright, DRS wide open on Ricciardo. We've got a car leaving the pit lane, and that's Romain Grosjean on medium. So here we go, up into P6, and now can we go for a dive on Ricciardo on these soft compound tyres into turn 1. A little bit late on the brakes, but lovely little move on the man who innovated the overtake himself into that corner. And there we go, we're up into 5th place now. So top 5, good result. We're on these tyres, we've got some good pace, and now I want to see if I've got anything left in terms of my esports practice pace that I had to see if I can maybe catch Kimi Raikkonen. Not bad, not bad. Fastest lap of the race, and I've still got a little bit of pace left, but I'm out of rich mix now, so I've got to try and nurse this carefully. But it's still great to see that I've got some pace from the esports event, and I can actually match the top guys. Even though I'm on a compound softer tyre, I've got some good pace, and it's just really encouraging to see, and hopefully I can maybe get closer to them in the coming races, and hopefully next season. But for now, it's good to be actually racing these guys on raw pace. So let's see what our overall speed is like in standard mix, because that's where I am now instead of rich. Okay, so Bottas is in the pit lane and he's gone on to the soft compound tyres. So I'm going to inherit 4th place here and an extra position out of nowhere. The question is, will any more of the front AI guys come in for another set of tyres? But for now, we're up into P4 here, and one more and we could be on the podium, and I'm catching Kimi. The question is, will I catch him enough by in the race? I don't think so, because also the tyres will come to him as eventually my softs fade. His mediums will come into a bit more of a zone, but I'll try my hardest, and who knows, maybe something might happen this race. Okay, so Raikkonen slowly pulling away in front, and now it's actually Bottas who's catching on that fresher soft compound tyre, and also probably in rich mix as he's been setting the fast laps of the race. But He's only about a second faster than me a lap. He's not majorly quicker, but it's enough to keep on catching me every single lap. And right now, it's basically me focusing on the fin behind and not the one in front now, as Bottas is going to start attacking me very soon. Oh, Vettel's out of the race. Sebastian Vettel's out of the Italian Grand Prix. Oh, wow, that is a massive, massive game changer. And that is heartbreak for the Tifosi here. And as you can see, we drive past Vettel's stricken Ferrari on the side of the road there. No safety car VSC, but now I've been promoted to a podium position here. And now Bottas is going to be basically trying to take a podium away from me. So the stakes are massive now in these final 5 laps of the Italian Grand Prix now. Okay, then here we go out the final corner. Bottas is right at my chuff. He's going to have DRS wide open here. And I'm going to go defensive, basically. Pull to the inside. Let him basically have a little bit of a dirty air. And he just tries to tap me there and sort of take me out. But luckily I managed to catch the car in a straight line. And he's going to stay behind me for now. But we're running to the dynamics of this race now. The last 3 laps to go. The pressure is on. And then me and Bottas also battle pretty hard. Ricciardo is still there in the background waiting. So this could get into a very tasty battle here in this last part of the race. Right, onto the back straight. Here comes Bottas once again. DRS wide open here. I'm going to have to leave him the outside, but he doesn't really quite commit to him. I'm leaving my car right in the middle of the track here, and Bottas still, once again, doesn't really commit to a overtake as I cut that corner slightly. But for now, we're doing a good job of keeping Bottas behind us, but I'm sure he's just going to keep attempting the pass until he gets past. So we will basically defend for everything we have now in this last part of the race, and he's going to have DRS on me now into the pit straight, so it's critical that I have a good exit out of here, which I have done. But Bottas, obviously, on fresh tyres, has had an absolutely brilliant exit out of there. And here he goes, he's going to pull to the inside. He hasn't even got DRS yet. Now he's got DRS. I'm going to squeeze him as much as I can to the inside here and make it as hard for him to brake into the first corner. And I'm just going to pull out of it here and go around the outside of turn 1. Can it work? A little bit of contact there. Argy-bargy. Bottas getting out of shape on the sausage curb on the inside. We're just going to squeeze him out there. And there we go. We've stayed ahead for now. Once again in P3 here. Right, on to lap 25. Bottas once again trying to go for the move. He really needs my slipstream to make the move. Otherwise, he doesn't have enough straight line speed to make it work. And this time he's going to go to the outside line. Will he have enough around the outside? I'm going to hold the inside here, shut the door on him, and just about hold on for now. Really good defensive driving so far, and I'm keeping the Mercedes driver behind for at least now. The question is, can I do it until the end of the race? My rear tyres are on 55% of my rear left, so I'm starting to struggle now on my tyres. Okay, out the final corner, Bottas is once again going to try and attempt the move. However, I've got some rich mix saved up to try and defend. So here we go, we're going to use that rich mix to try and stay ahead of Bottas here. Pull to the inside, not let him make the move, and then just go back into the racing line. And that way, Bottas will not go for the move, because I've got a lot of straight line speed here. My setup is basically playing to my strengths and using my straight line speed. So we're going to stay ahead of him now, thanks to the rich mixture. And I should have enough now to use it on the pit straight for the remaining parts of the Grand Prix here. I've only just realised now, going into the last lap of the race, I think Bottas might have made a mistake, because he's just dropped off the pace massively. I can't see him. He's about 2 seconds behind, so I wonder if he might have locked up somewhere. Either way, it's giving me a gap now going to this last lap of the race to try and bring the car home. So Bottas must have made a mistake somewhere into Ascari or maybe into Parabolica, just locked up or something. But I don't know what's happened there, because he was in the back of me, and then I was waiting for him to appear on the pit straight, and then I realised he wasn't there anymore. So I don't know what happened to Bottas there, but that's given me the opportunity now to try and bring us home in third place. So let's take it. Right, here we go then into the Parabolica. Bottas has caught up to the back of me once again, but I'm in rich mix. I'm using what I have left to defend from him, and I think it's going to be a very satisfying P3 here. We're going to bring it to the flag, and Bottas is going to try and get close, but it's not enough, and we finish on the podium in the Italian Grand Prix. What a result, and that's just basically a fantastic result, because the way we basically was in the right place at the right time, and the incidents happened and we was there to take it. Like Bottas, for example, coming in for an unscheduled pit stop, and also Vettel retiring from the race. That basically opened the opportunity for us to get a podium here today, and also making the overtakes on on Ricciardo, and also getting past Grosjean in the pit stops and not letting him undercut us. Just such crucial decisions this race that really allowed us to mount a challenge for a podium. And what a result! My first podium in a while. I think it was since I won the race in Canada, so first podium in a little while, and it's come at one of the tracks where you'd expect me to be on the pace, and it's delivered, basically. A track that I was confident about, because obviously the esports event helped me out in terms of my overall pace, and also just a track that suits our car, which is very good, and overall it worked out absolutely beautifully for us, and we've managed to get it on the podium on the third step alongside Raikkonen, and the race winner Lewis Hamilton, who wins it just like in the real life Grand Prix here at Monza in 2017. But other than that, that is the podium, and a very good race there. But we're now going to move into the final race results, drivers and constructors standings. Right, so looking at the final race results, Lewis Hamilton wins ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and I round up the podium in there. Valtteri Bottas in 4th place and Daniel Ricciardo in P5. Romain Grosjean in a very impressive 6th place there from 13th on the grid for Haas, with Max Verstappen in P7, and then Lance Stroll getting the better of his teammate Felipe Massa from P12 on the grid, and Esteban Ocon rounds up the points with 10th place there in the second Force India car. But if we scroll down to the bottom, the big news is Sebastian Vettel retiring from the race in the one where he wanted to perform so desperately for Ferrari. But in terms of the driver standings and what it does for the tables, you can see that Raikkonen is now leading once again by a pretty big margin, this time by 45 points, and Lewis is now gaining on Vettel. Actually, he's inside 20 points. He's 19 points behind Sebastian Vettel. So is Lewis Hamilton on the charge? Is he on the hunt? Are Mercedes on the up? Because Bottas also is still not that far away. I mean, 89 points, and we still got a good 6-7 races to go. It's still wide open, to be honest, and the Mercedes, if they bring a couple of upgrades, they could still well be in the mix here, and they've sort of left Red Bull behind. And speaking of Red Bull, I'm only 11 points behind Max Verstappen, who once again had a pretty poor race, and 17 points behind Ricciardo. So could I pip a Red Bull for P5 or P6 from now until the end of the season? We'll have to wait and see. But Massa remains ahead of Ocon for now, and he's now 30 points ahead of Esteban there, and I'm pretty much 64 points ahead of Ocon. So that goes to show how dominant I've been this season. But looking at the constructors final, you can see that no changes here whatsoever. Ferrari 108 points ahead of Mercedes, and another 100 ahead of Red Bull there, and pretty much another 100 ahead of Force India. But other than that, that was Monza. We're now going to move into the laptop.
Nothing like being trackside at a Grand Prix. Change of direction on these things is insane. I own a single-seater. I take club racing, but comparatively speaking, it's like a kid's pedal car. And speaking of pedals, I need to borrow your right foot again. We have invitations to 2 more historic events, and we've got to choose one. So, take your pick.
Okay, so we've been offered a classic event. However, I do want to do the one you can see on screen right now, the overtake challenge around Britain in the 96 Williams. However, there are bigger fish to fry, and we've got a lot of resource points to spend, and I want to focus on those right now. I know you guys might not be happy with that, with me not skipping the classic event, but I really want to use these resource points and get some good upgrades on the car. So we're going to kick things off with the upgrade that failed on us for last time. Then we're going to switch over to a front wing upgrade here, and we have just enough points left for a chassis upgrade, and the one we're going to go for is going to be, I think, this one here. So we're just going to go for that one, the weight reduction on the lightweight energy cell store cells. So yeah, we're going to go for this, and all of these should hopefully arrive for Singapore, so we should have another couple of good tasty upgrades on the car arriving for the next race. And also we'll have a brand new gearbox as well, so a lot of new parts coming for the car in the next race in Singapore, and I'm looking forward to it. So we should have a pretty competitive package around there, especially around a street circuit where we can run a little bit higher aero. But other than that, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed the video, and if you have, then please do smash the like button. Also, if you're new around here, why not subscribe to my channel? Let's see if we can try and smash 300 likes for this incredible episode, and also let's see if we can maybe push towards 12,000 subscribers by the end of next month. And also check out these videos on screen if you haven't done so already, guys, and if you haven't missed any of the videos of this entire series, then do check out the playlist link down below in the description, and also check out GT Omega, link down below in the description. If you guys do want to get a bit of GT Omega swag or merchandise, then do use the code Tom97 for a 5% discount. That should give you a little cheeky little bit of discount at checkout. But other than that, guys, I thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.